Did you know this game's too hard and everyone hits it?
Oh, is WoW bad again?
Well, it's bad again.
Deary me.
The heroes of the Season of Discovery team.
They've ruined it, have they?
The team that can do no wrong whatsoever have snuck into World of Warcraft players' homes and killed their animals on them.
Flip's sake, Josh. Why are you skinning people's cats, Josh?
Yeah, I'm taking the piss and people aren't really that mad, but they did something very daring, which was...
oh, no, well, Matt, there's a tweet here from Entice, the local Keemstar of World of Warcraft. So this actually, this must be serious news.
It's extremely serious.
Very big.
Mm-hmm. Sunken Temple is hard in Season of Discovery. That's the news, everyone. That's the news. So this is kind of interesting where... Because we have talked about this. You joke about PETA actually sneaking into your house to do that. I'll take your word for it. Because they made a really weird game one time. That fake Pokemon game that was scuffed. What's the Pokemon? Something else. Anyway, I'm getting off the point. The point is, like, we have seen in Dragonflight, we've seen numbers go up when the game is largely easier. At least that's kind of what's going on, right? We look at the raid participation as things get a little bit easier across normal and heroic, and things seem to be like not comparatively like guild completion compared to like past expansions and stuff like raw numbers, but the completion rates are actually like better. Completion rates are way higher on average. So it shows that people are kind of sticking to the game a little bit more because they're not hitting walls and they're like quitting, or they're like hitting walls, getting frustrated and leaving, things like that. We noticed that as soon as the like affixes start to get defined in Mythic Plus, and we start to get more like I guess power creep and like class fantasy through a bunch of utility and things like that, the game starts to have substantially higher M plus participation. This season being one of that, like not quite as much as season 1 of Dragonflight, but like largely speaking, probably the most successful season of Mythic Plus relative to its position in the expansion we've ever seen. And crazy amount of M plus has been played. And a lot of our hypothesis is because it's just a little bit easier. It's getting nice and comfy. It's cozy gaming hours. It's not this like hellscape nightmare sweating. You know, you can imagine like the meme gif of the guy hitting his keyboard sweating versus the whoever it is singing that song, leaning back, clearly having the time of their life. So Season of Discovery and Classic has been largely speaking a like walk in the park, right? It's been a walk in the park for a while. And Classic itself was as well. Especially you see it how like Classic was actually played when it came out. And a lot of it was people hyper optimizing to wipe the game completely clean. Just like how low a level and with how few people can we go into MC and destroy it when the servers go up? How fast can we like take over? Can we just wreck Black Temple, stuff like that? That's been kind of like the joy of Classic for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But this time they were like, especially with Season Discovery, because Season Discovery so far has been hilariously easy. People doing like clearing Nomergon like on the day it launched in fully green gear without having to gear up at all. They literally just bash it up to max level and just power through, no problem. So Sunken Temple is comparatively hard as shit. Like numerically. Like the thing that Take No TV talks about in this is specifically health pools, right? I believe there's a trash mob in here that I think he said has the same HP as a Black Temple trash mob. That's from the next expansion. That's 20 levels above. Obviously, Season Discovery runes bring a lot of power creep as well. And then there was a boss that has the same HP value as Patchwork does in Nax.
Holy crap.
So it is your level 50. Here's a Nax boss. Please have fun. That was the thing. And there's a little bit...
Ultimately, I can understand with runes, with how people will be able to optimize their gear. Yeah, I can understand the numbers being like that. Yeah. I mean, not from experience. I don't know if this is genuinely too much.
So that's kind of the problem here, right? Where you've got like the race to world first for Sunken Temple continues, but after 16 plus hours, guilds are calling quits because they think they just can't this reset.
If they believe it's impossible
with the current setup, like they're nowhere near best skewed.
Well, in that case, it's normal progression.
Yeah.
And I assume this is clearing the raid. Like, surely, are they able to kill any bosses?
Yeah, they're able to get a few bosses in.
Well, this is just normal raid progression then. Stop crying.
Yeah. but they're used to just walking in and clearing the raid and going, oh, we've done the raid now, it's fine, it's over. And then we can just keep clearing it every week. And this is the interesting part, right?
Asmongold's right. Modern game is for sweatlords.
Yeah.
Normal mode anti-sweatlords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though I guess if people are completely used to one thing and then you suddenly change it and you don't post it, you're going to change it, then they go in with a prior set of expectations and boom, they get slammed. And that's not a good experience because it doesn't match their expectations. So as much as it's pretty easy to like sort of joke and, laugh in and around this, that is also true.
Yeah, the principle here is basically like a soft punch out. The first raid tier in Classic ever. You didn't even say ever, mate. That hasn't been killed in a few hours of launch. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. You go. There's 6 out of 8 in a few hours of launch. Everyone's like, this is unbelievably hard. This is chaos level. I can't sort this out. So obviously you've got just shit posting across every front. We couldn't rush to 15 kill everything in 30 minutes with 0 gear upgrades. It must be impossible. Nerf now. So in kind of thing, like, the hypothesis is that people who play World of Warcraft actually want things to be easy rather than challenging. But as soon as things are too easy, they'll be like, make it harder. I want this to be harder. Which is just, people don't know what they actually want an awful lot of the time. But their behavior shows, their actions show, and people do want this game to be actually reasonably easy enough across
Ultimately, it's a virtual work and progression social sim.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly,
that's an angle.
Yeah, it is fun that like Agran here says it's nice to see a raid stay undefeated, but there's a bit for the average Joes. So he's clearly got so this was definitely intentional. Just we'll make it a little bit harder.
Well, in that case, maybe they're trying to notch that up so that they have what they feel is a sustainable end game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I guess if everything gets completely destroyed instantly, and then you want this content to exist for 3 months, that could be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that impacts us with Heroic getting a little bit easier over time. Whenever like Abris was a little bit tricky sometimes, but like Amir Dusil, we just kind of walked over it, and we're like, oh, we're done now. There's no more game to play. Ah, shit. Because like that's the part of the progress. So once you hit it, you finish it. Oh, what now? Well, the whole point of the game is to gear up to beat the boss. Well, we beat the boss, so we don't need the gear. Okay. I guess we'll not play anymore. Or, we'll play the game, but we'll not like have raid night, stuff like that. Because farming enough is there. So that's kind of that. There's not that dramatic. Usually, like, we could take a really unbelievable hardcore stance and troll like Flex always does. If people haven't really done that, Flex is literally just takes the piss where possible. Man, it's so obvious. But yeah, we could take a really strong stance.
It's obvious, but when you fly it right and people don't get the bait, it is
it's so fun.
It is the best.
It's so fun. But yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. Where Satan Discovery decided to make the game slightly more difficult, and the Sweat Lords rebelled immediately because they had to sweat for once, as opposed to just walk over the game.